Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Millennials in Charge, where we unpack the adult experience, one honest conversation at a time. I'm your host, Lex the Millennial. Today's episode is a reminder that you need to rest, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Rest isn't a reward you give yourself for productivity. Rest is a requirement for your well-being. In a culture that glorifies hustle and grind, taking a pause can feel like failure. But let's be honest, burnout doesn't build dreams, it breaks them. But to be honest, burnout will not help you build your dreams. It will break them. So today, we're giving ourselves permission to take a pause, to rest, and we're going to redefine what it means to rest through life, not just push through it. Let's get into it. So, why do so many of us feel guilty about resting? I know personally, I used to associate rest with laziness. And my mom's a cosmetologist, so I've always seen her on go. She's always on go. When I was in high school, she would work probably like 16-hour shifts. And when I was 14, I started working with her. So I get out of school around 3 or 4 o'clock. We're still not leaving until midnight, sometimes 2 a.m. And she's been there since 9 a.m. So I've been working, I help work, probably like an 8 hour to 10 hour shift myself. And then she had already been there for 8 hours. So it's like she's doing 16 to 18 hours a day. So I think that kind of set the tone for me. It's like if I'm not doing something productive, I felt like I was wasting time. And the older I get, I realize how valuable my time is. But eventually, that pressure to keep performing and left me exhausted and anxious and honestly resentful. Knowing that time is the highest form of currency, I realized that my time to rest and recover and just relax is so important to me. I don't know about y'all, but I was definitely one of those vacation goers who had like a packed itinerary. Like it was like boom, boom, boom. We're going here, here, here. We wake up at this time. We're gonna eat breakfast. We're gonna go do this. We're gonna parasail. We're gonna jet ski. We're gonna do all of the things. We're gonna go on this tour. We're gonna go on that tour. And by the end of my vacations, I would be exhausted because I've just done so much ripping and running around. So when meeting my husband, who's just a lot more just laxed and like, let's just go with the flow. Like, we don't need all these itineraries. That was kind of hard for me because I was like, if I'm not doing something, I feel lazy. It's fine if you want to rest, and take a load off. But for me personally, it was like, I need to be doing something. I need to be doing something. And the longer we've been together, a kind of shift has happened in me where I value rest and I don't feel bad if I'm resting versus doing 2 million things or trying to tackle 2 million things on a list. And that took practice because we often tie our worth to productivity. So that's the root of the guilt. It's like if I'm not productive, then I'm not really worth anything. I should be doing something. And we go back to social media is just moving so fast. You're getting so much information all at one time. And you feel like everybody is being productive, but you sometimes. And that's simply not true. Sometimes they're just posting old stuff and you just don't know it. Productivity is what you make it. I think with trying to be productive, this was put into perspective for me this weekend because we just, got through Mother's Day. And when I tell y'all, I rested like nobody ever rested before. Like, actually, my Friday and Saturday were busy because I went to a flourishing women's conference at my church, which was amazing. And it just kind of refilled my cup. But at the same time, I was resting because I was not with my husband or my child. He took care of the child, and I didn't have to worry about what was going on at home. So I just really took that time to refill my cup and, kind of get refreshed and renewed and realize that it's okay to rest and recover. And then, Sunday comes and I just rested like nobody's business. I just didn't do anything. I just hung out with my boys. And It was the best Mother's Day I've had, in these last 3 years. Best Mother's Day I ever had. Going out to restaurants, like I think last year we went out to a restaurant in Baltimore, and I think the year before you might have like thrown like a big something at the house, but all of that is cool and I enjoyed those things, but I'm really at the place where rest is essential for me. Society will teach us to rest after we've earned it, not before we need it, which is kind of counterintuitive because once you realize you need the rest, it's almost too late. Like you kind of have to um take preventative measures with your rest. You have to build it in. You have to build that time into rest, to self-care, you know what I'm saying, to relax, to restore yourself because you can't pour from an empty cup. That's first and foremost. And once you realize you need rest, you're probably at that burnout stage. Like when you hit that, I need a vacation, it's like you waited too long to take care of yourself. You've waited too long to look at what you've done thus far as accomplishment, and now you're tired, you're burnt out, and you just want to get away from all of it. And I think pushing yourself to be so productive and then you can reward yourself with rest will kind of make that rest seem very short. It won't be enough. You'll continue to need more. And if you've ever heard the saying when people say, like, if you don't decide to take the rest, your body will take it for you. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing. I have seen, even my own mother experience that. Like she's always on go. Even now, my mom is nearly 50 years old and that woman still is on go. She is still a bomb cosmetologist. But when I tell y'all that lady does not sit down, and it's me, her 33-year-old daughter, trying to teach her, like, Mom, you need to rest. Like, you don't have to do everything for everybody. You don't have to be everything for everybody. You need to rest because if not, you're going to be sitting in this bed and unable to get up for way longer than you want to, you know? So we have to realize that rest is important. Rest does not mean that you're falling behind. It means that you're protecting your longevity. Like I said, by the time people realize they need rest, it's too late. It's too late. Now you all sore, broke up, all of these things. And now you have to really recover. Like you can't just take, a day of self-care and it's going to be fixed. It's going to take you now. Now you're on a road to recovery because you've taken too long and you kind of diminish your longevity when you don't take time to rest. Even people who work out heavily, have exquisite bodies, take rest days. So why can't you take a rest day? I mean, really think about it. How often do we give others the grace to just slow down, but we deny ourselves that? Why is it so hard for you to give yourself permission to pause and to rest? I think it's important to realize that those tasks are not going anywhere. They're not. And one thing I learned this weekend was time mastery is key to your productivity. It's not about doing something every minute of every single day. It's about how you master your time, how you schedule out and plan your time. And they gave us this kind of template where it says, like, what are your top 3 priorities for the day? And if you can get through those, you can still have the rest of the list, but what are your top 3? What do you absolutely need to get done? And even if you only get 2 of those done, still allow yourself to rest. Still give yourself that grace to rest. Again, your rest is not a reward for your productivity. Your rest is essential for your longevity. If you don't rest, your body will do it for you. It's as simple as that. What if we start thinking about rest as not a pause from your growth, but a part of it, right? Just like your phone can't run on 1% for the whole day, you know, neither can you. You need to recharge, not just sleep, but soul rest. Rest renews your clarity, your creativity, and your emotional balance. Okay? Even God rested on the seventh day. Come on, and none of us are as great and as mighty as God. Even God took a rest, okay? Rest is divine. It's not weak. When you learn to rest, that is divinity. That is peace. That is tranquility. I told you this weekend I rested like nobody's business. I feel so renewed, so recharged. I told y'all last week I had felt like all hell was breaking loose in my life. And today I can't tell y'all that. Like I feel good. Stuff is still going on, but I feel good. I feel rejuvenated. I feel refilled. I feel like I can go, you know. And it's such an amazing feeling. Like I feel completely different from last week and the week before, and the week before I probably should have took rest, like I said, versus getting up there and talking about financial guidance. I should have took some rest and then came back the following week, but I didn't do that. So I was a little disappointed in myself for that. But after this weekend, I am just renewed and I am just ready to, hit the ground running. We're nearing the end of season 1 of Millennials in Charge. I'm so proud of that. I'm so thankful for that. So I'm gonna take, the summer to like plan, do some content planning and get some interviews done and come back for season 2 in the fall for you guys. So even I'm taking rest, even though my goal is to be consistent. So with this, I can be 12 weeks consistent for you guys. And then I'm going to take some time for me to fully rest and rejuvenate, get my creativity flowing. And then I'm going to come back in the fall and we're going to get through those winter blues together. Okay? Because like I said, you can't pour from an empty cup. Stillness is often where direction and answers are found. Even if y'all not in y'all Bible like that, y'all know the saying, peace be still. You know, stillness is where you find clarity. Stillness is where you get to balance your emotions. Stillness is where your creativity flourishes. Sometimes you just have to take a step back. Sometimes you just have to take that moment for yourself. Now, if you have kids, it might be a little bit harder. But, hopefully, your village can be a part of that rest. Your spouse, if you have one, can be a part of that rest. Like really lean into your community when you feel like you need that rest. Don't wait until your body says you're down. Don't wait until your body forces you to rest. Build that rest into your routine because it's very important. I don't know if I've ever told you guys. I paint and I did this beautiful painting for my cousins who got married. Was it last year? Last summer in Italy. And it took me months to do that painting. Like I had sketched it out to be one thing. And over the months that it took me to complete it, like I didn't even finish the painting until we got back from Italy because I needed to see, like I had an idea, but I needed, like Google did it no justice. I needed to see the landscape of Italy myself to then be able to complete this picture for them. And the rest that I took from that really helped. That just going back, like I could, as I kept continuing to like go back, I left it for a while, like, it might be a week I don't work on it. And as I continued to go back and just add a little and add a little and add a little, that painting came together so beautifully, better than I had envisioned, better than I had sketched, you know, 3 months before. Like it came out perfect. And it's because I gave myself time to rest in between and that creativity and that balance and everything I needed, the love that I needed to witness at their wedding was then poured into that painting. So rest, it's not bad. It really for me, it led to a better outcome with that painting. I don't think that painting would have been as good. It probably would have still been good, but not as good and as great and as filled with love and symbolism as I wanted it to be had I not took that time to rest. We went to Italy for a week, and again, that was another week that I hadn't done anything. But when I came back, I said, "Ooh, seeing the landscape of Italy, I knew like the colors, I knew, the textures I wanted to use." So rest is really life changing, honestly. Now, I said rest is more than just physical rest, okay? Are you truly resting or are you just numbing out? Are you just like, oh, well, I'm just, sitting here and going to look at a wall? Or are you truly intentionally resting? You have to be intentional about your resting. For physical rest, you can use sleep, naps, stepping away from constant movement. That's how you physically rest. Mentally resting, you unplug. You might put your phone on D&D, you might journal, you might meditate, you could just do some yoga, just sit in the stillness. Maybe listen to some old school R&B, on the porch, just sitting in the sun, going to the park, just letting your mind be free and clear. Emotional rest is saying no. It's saying no sometimes. It's protecting your peace. It's being in spaces where you don't have to explain yourself. That's emotional rest, where you don't have to feel like you're performing, where you don't have to feel like you have to explain every little thing. It's going to get misconstrued, you know? Emotional rest can look like boundaries. Oh, I'm not doing this today. I'm not going out, whatever it is. Emotional rest is very important. Emotional rest is kind of realizing that when somebody calls you and they kind of want to just dump all their problems on you, they kind of want to, what do I call it, like trauma dump on you without even knowing if you have the capacity to do so. That's when you say, hey, I don't really, I understand you're going through a lot, but I don't really have the capacity to take on your problems as well. And I know that can seem, that's not harsh, that's protecting your peace. Because sometimes you just don't have the mental capacity to hear all the problems someone is going through. Especially if you're an empath and you take on people's feelings and emotions, because then you end up feeling the way they're feeling. So be cognizant of that when you call people and when people call you. I think we have to start asking when we call people, hey, how you doing? Oh, you're okay? Okay. I wanted to vent. Do you have the capacity to listen to me vent? If not, I understand. And we have to understand that people won't always have the capacity to hear you vent. And that's where you can, maybe do a mental rest and maybe journal. Maybe write a note in your phone just if you just need to get it out. But we do have to be cognizant of how we just trauma dump and unload on people. Spiritual rest looks like prayer, reflection, and quiet time. Y'all, I'm working on reading the Bible front to back this whole year, and literally the Bible has some gems. Like you can listen to as many podcasts as you want. The Bible has some gems, y'all. Like it really, it speaks truth to power. It's just amazing. It really helps, you know, for just different things. And sometimes, people won't give you the answer. I see people now like using Chat GPT as like their bestie. I mean, if that works for you, that works for you. But I mean, God will give you more clarity than Chat GPT. I'm gonna just put that out there. He just will. Chat GPT is cool because I know some people have taught it Ebonics and everything. Like it's like a homegirl. And if you might not have that trust with your homegirl where you don't want to tell them all your business, then yeah, maybe that's an outlet for you. But literally, if you don't know what to look up, you can even Google like what scripture pertains to this situation and, go read it because it'll give you some clarity. Like, The people in the Bible weren't perfect. They were going through things, and so it's definitely helpful, especially for your spiritual rest, to like go seek that reflection in that quiet time with the Lord, and hopefully, you'll get that clarity and the rest that you need. Because when I tell y'all, that conference I went to this weekend was amazing. I am renewed and refreshed and just ready to go. So what are some practical ways that you can apply rest in your life and incorporate rest in your routine versus waiting until you're about to fall apart? One, you can schedule your rest like you schedule your meetings. Put that time in there. If it's an hour, if from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 or whatever time, schedule that in there. If you're a morning person, if that rest time is from 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 or 5 to 6, whatever it is, schedule that in your day. Schedule that in your day, your week, or your month. However you want to schedule your rest. If it's weekly, do it. If it's daily, do it. But make sure you schedule your rest. Honor your body's signals. Fatigue is information. When you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted, your body is telling you something. Your body is telling you something. Listen to your body signals and honor those. Your body is telling you before it just completely breaks down that it needs rest. When you feel that fatigue is kind of like if you got smoke coming from up under your car's hood. You're like, uh-oh, something might be wrong. Something's overheating, right? Honor your body signals. Third, rest is not a break from your purpose. Realize that it's a part of fulfilling it. You need that rest to fulfill your purpose. You need that rest for your longevity. You need it. You need that rest. I told y'all, even the strongest, most fit people have rest days. Take your rest. What if your rest is an act of resistance? Okay? Rest disrupts the belief that your value is tied to how much you output. Okay? Rest, especially in marginalized communities, is revolutionary. You don't have to earn your worth. You already have it. You already have it. You don't have to earn your worth. Your rest should not be tied to your productivity, to how much you can output, because rest is not a luxury. It's a form of resistance against a system that tells us to burn out to matter. You don't have to burn out to matter. It's true when they say if you pass away today, they're going to post your position tomorrow. That is true. They literally do that. They will send, flowers to your family and their condolences, but that job will post your position the next day. If they have the capacity to do it, they will. So just be mindful of that. Your rest is not a luxury. It's essential to your well-being. It's a requirement for your well-being. You don't have to burn out to matter. You can work hard, but I prefer to work smarter and not harder. That does not mean I'm not productive. That does not mean I'm not effective. But it means that I'm willing to use my resources well so that I don't have to break my back, literally, to get things done. So I think it's important to realize that work smarter, not harder. What's a more effective way you can get something done? Think about that. Assess that. Look at your resources and the tools that are around you. Find a smarter way to work. Oh, I worked 16 hours. That's cool. That's cool. But find a smarter way to work. Even entrepreneurs, they They might start off, on that hard grind, but once they are able to have the capital to hire people to do things for them and outsource, they do. They do. They outsource. Outsourcing is the smartest thing you can do because then it's not all on you, because then you're not burnt out, because then you have the longevity along with your business endeavor to push forward. Use your resources. Work smarter, not hard. If you take nothing else from today's episode, I want you to realize that rest doesn't make you lazy. It makes you sustainable. I told you it gives you that longevity. Your body, your mind, and your spirit deserve to exhale. Just it deserves that rest, that journaling, that meditation, that sleep, those naps. Y'all, I didn't care about a nap when I was in kindergarten, but I must tell y'all, as an adult and as a stay-at-home mother, I value naps so much. I don't always take them, but I will take them when my body says, "Yep, it's time. We're all gonna nap, you know. Not just my baby. We're all gonna nap." So your body, your mind, your spirit needs to exhale. That's what I got this weekend. I had the biggest exhale with just everything. And I told you, I feel renewed. I feel rejuvenated. I feel pumped. I am ready to go. You don't have to be in motion to be making progress. Okay? Because, like I said with that painting, when I took that week off, I came back and had some better ideas of what I was doing, and I continue to add and build upon. So that rest is more valuable than you think. Sometimes you need that rest to create bigger motion, if that makes sense, to make bigger progress. Rest can sometimes give you that clarity that you need that you won't necessarily get from just being in constant motion. Because rest allows you to sit back, to reflect, and see the bigger picture or remind you of what the bigger picture is. Don't underestimate the value of your rest. It is it's crucial. I'm telling y'all, it's crucial. As a mom who struggles with self-care sometimes, the one thing I've made myself do is like go get my nails done. That is one of the ways I'm like, you know what? This is some built-in me time every month. I'm going to get my nails done, you know. Might not always get my hair done, but I can work with the hair. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to sit there for 2 hours and just let this woman do my nails and, maybe tell a few stories and have a good time. I'm going to do that for myself. That is my monthly thing. My one of my weekly things is at least taking one nap, at some point during the week. So again, struggling with that self-care, I understand it because I still struggle with it, but after really after this weekend, I just see the the greatest value in the rest, the rejuvenation I feel. My cup is so full that it's like, wow. And it's like you have to keep your cup full because when your cup is full, it just keeps overflowing, you know. So it's just easier for you to manage. When it's like when you're on your car, when your gas tank is low, you're like, I don't know if I could turn on this air conditioner. You know, you don't want to get to that point. You want to keep it at least always a half, so you can run your air conditioner. So if there's a traffic accident, you can sit in the traffic and be okay. So just be mindful of that. We oftentimes can easily think of it in practical things. Oh, my phone is dead. I need to charge it. If you can charge your phone, you can recharge yourself as well. You can recharge yourself as well because the same way, I don't know if y'all know, like over time as you charge your battery, it loses its capacity for charging. So it starts out at 100 and over the years that you have your phone, it starts to like go down. And I think for Apple, I think they won't replace your battery until it's like under 70% capacity. So it's like, just be mindful of that. Your capacity will change through the year, so you have to keep recharging, keep recharging. Shoot, maybe sometimes change the battery. I don't know what that means with respect to a human being, but change the battery. And again, that could be, you know, going to conference, seeking community, going to a wellness retreat, whatever it is. But you want to take that rest before your body takes it for you. This week, I challenge you all to schedule some intentional rest, guilt-free. We're not going to have guilt about it. We're not going to feel like, oh, I just need to check one thing. No, we're not going to feel guilt about it. We're going to put our phones on D&D. We're going to take a nap. We're going to unplug from social media. You're going to say no to extra things. You're not picking up any new obligations this week. Protect your peace like your future depends on it, because it does. It does. Protect your peace like your future depends on it, because it does. That rest, that intentional rest, is going to help you sustain, and it's going to give you longevity. Schedule that rest, y'all. And, when it comes to self-care and spa days and stuff like that, y'all better go on Groupon. Groupon be having the sales. So y'all can go on there. You be like, oh, I don't really have the money. You can find a Groupon deal for a massage if that's what you desire for your rest. There are ways to find what you need and get what you need, but schedule that intentional rest this week. As always, thank you for tuning in to Millennials in Charge. If this episode gave you a little peace, share it with someone who needs the same reminder. Share it with someone who needs permission to pause. Because rest is not laziness, it is divinity. It is a requirement for your longevity. Okay? Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, rate, comment, engage, so we can keep unpacking this wild ride we call adulthood together, with peace, with grace, with truth, and with rest. Okay? I'll see y'all next time. Don't forget to catch Millennials in Charge every Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern. You can tune in on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. See y'all next week.